Raising children in a God-centered home. Listen, my beloved child, for I am the Lord your God, the one who formed you in the womb, the one who has known you before the foundations of the earth. I speak to you now, not as a distant voice, but as a loving father, a shepherd who longs to guide you in the most precious task I have given you, to raise your children in a home that is centered on me. You are not alone in this calling. I see the weight you carry. I see the struggles you face, the sleepless nights, the worries, the fears that whisper in your heart, telling you that you are not enough. But hear my voice. You are enough because I am with you. I will strengthen you. I will uphold you. I will teach you. Do not turn away. Do not harden your heart. Stay with me until the end. For what I am about to speak is life to your soul, hope for your journey, and light for your path. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22, verse 6. This is my promise to you. But do you understand what it means? It is not just about words, not just about rules. It is about a life lived in my presence, a home where my name is lifted high, where my love is the foundation. Look at the world around you. Do you not see the darkness creeping in? The enemy prowls like a roaring lion, seeking to devour the hearts of your children. He whispers lies to them through the screens they watch, the voices they hear, the culture that calls them away from me. He tells them they do not need me. That sin is freedom. That rebellion is power. But I tell you the truth. Sin is a trap. Rebellion is destruction. And a life without me is a life without hope. Do not be afraid, my child. I have given you all that you need to stand firm. I have given you my word, my spirit, my presence. You are not raising your children alone. I am with you, fighting for you, interceding for you. Even now, my angels surround your home. Even now, my hand rests upon your family. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Joshua 24, verse 15. Will you make this your declaration? Will you stand in the gap for your children, refusing to let the enemy take them? You must fight, not with anger, not with fear, but with love, with patience, with unwavering faith in me. Let me tell you a story. There was a mother long ago who had a child she loved deeply. But the world around her was filled with evil. Kings rose to power who did not know me. Laws were made to destroy the innocent, and danger lurked at every turn. She knew that if she left her child unprotected, he would be lost. So she made a choice. She placed him in a basket, setting him afloat on a river, trusting me to guide him. Did I fail her? Did I abandon her? No, my child, I was with her son. I raised him up in the courts of Pharaoh. I called him out to lead my people. I spoke to him from a burning bush. I parted the sea before him. That child was Moses, and he changed the course of history because his mother dared to trust me. Will you trust me like that? Will you place your children in my hands, knowing that I am the one who formed them, the one who has plans for them, plans to give them a hope and a future? For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. But hear me, raising children in a God-centered home is not just about words, not just about prayers spoken before bedtime. It is about the life you live before them, the love you show, the example you set. If you want your children to love me, then you must love me first. If you want them to seek me, then let them see you seeking me. Let them see you open my word. Let them hear your voice in prayer, not just in times of trouble, but in moments of joy. Let them see you worship, not just in church, but in the quiet of your home. Your children are watching. They see how you treat others. They hear how you speak when you are angry. They notice what you turn to for comfort. If you say you love me, but do not live by my ways, they will learn hypocrisy. But if they see a faith that is real, a love that is unwavering, a home filled with my presence, then their hearts will be drawn to me. I know that some of you are hurting. Some of you have children who have strayed, who have turned their backs on me. You have prayed, you have wept, you have pleaded for their return. Hear me now. I am the God who restores. I am the shepherd who leaves the 99 to find the one. I am the father who runs to embrace the prodigal. Do not give up. Do not stop praying. Do not stop believing. Your prayers are not in vain. Your tears are not unseen. Even now, I am working in their hearts. Even now, I'm drawing them back to me. Trust my timing. I will not fail you. I will contend with those who contend with you, and your children I will save. Isaiah 49 verse 25. Listen, my child, for this is my heart. I long for your home to be a place of peace, of joy, of holiness. I long for your children to walk in my ways, to grow into men and women of faith. I long for your family to be a testimony to the world, a light shining in the darkness. But you must choose. Every day, you must choose to put me first. You must choose to guard what enters your home. You must choose to pray, to teach, to love with my love. And when you fail, and you will fail, do not run from me. Come to me, for I am full of mercy. My grace is new every morning. My arms are always open. But the steadfast love of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting on those who fear him, and his righteousness to children's children. Psalm 103 verse 17. Hold on to this promise. Walk in it. Teach it to your children. And know that I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Now go, my child. Raise them in my love. Raise them in my truth. Raise them in my presence. And I will bless you, and I will keep you, and I will make my face shine upon you. I am your God. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. Your children are mine. I have spoken, my child, and I will speak again, for my heart burns with love for you and for the little ones I have entrusted to you. I see the battle you are facing. I see the enemy lurking in the shadows, whispering lies, try to steal the hearts of the children I have given you. But do not be afraid. I am the Lord your God, the mighty one who fights for you. I have called you to raise them in my ways, and I will strengthen you to do it. Do not think this journey will be easy. The world around you is not friendly to my truth. They mock righteousness. They twist what is good and call it evil, and they call what is evil good. They teach your children that holiness is old-fashioned, that purity is weakness, that obedience to me is slavery. But listen to my voice. I am the one who made them, who knows them, who holds their future. Only my words are life. Only my truth sets them free. Do you remember Noah? The world around him was drowning in sin. Evil ruled the hearts of men. Yet Noah stood firm. He built an ark in obedience to my command, even when people laughed at him, even when the world mocked his faith. And because he obeyed, his family was saved. Will you be like Noah? Will you build an ark of faith in your home? Will you stand firm when the world calls you foolish for believing in me? Will you protect your children from the flood of corruption, teaching them to walk in righteousness? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Proverbs 9 verse 10. Teach them wisdom. Show them what it means to fear me, not with dread, but with awe, with reverence, with a love that obeys. The world will teach them rebellion, but you must teach them submission to my will. The world will teach them selfishness, but you must teach them sacrifice. The world will teach them pride, but you must teach them humility. And how will you teach them? Not just with words, but with your life. They're watching you. They're listening when you speak. They're learning from what you do in secret. They will see how you love, how you forgive, how you trust me even in the storms. Do not say to your children, "Trust God," and then live in fear. Do not say, "Honor God," and then dishonor me with your actions. They will follow what you do more than what you say. Look at Abraham. I called him out of his homeland, away from everything familiar, and he obeyed. He trusted me. He walked by faith, not by sight. And because of his faith, I made a covenant with him, a promise that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars. Your obedience today will bless the generations after you. What kind of legacy will you leave? Will your children rise and call you blessed because you taught them to walk in my ways? Will they remember a home filled with my presence, or a home filled with distractions? I see how the enemy tries to steal their hearts through the things of this world. The screens that captivate their eyes, the voices that lead them away, the influences that poison their minds. But you are not powerless, my child. You have my word. You have my spirit. You have my authority. Do not give the enemy a foothold. Guard your home. Guard what enters through the doors. Guard what fills their hearts. Teach them to hunger for me, to desire my presence more than anything else. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Matthew 5 verse 6. Feed them my truth. Let my words be sweeter to them than honey. Let worship rise from your home like incense before my throne. When you sit at the table, speak of me. When you walk with them, remind them of my ways. When you put them to bed, pray over them. Let your home be a sanctuary, a place where my spirit dwells. Do you remember Hannah? She longed for a child, and when I gave her a son, she did not hold him back from me. She dedicated Samuel to me, and he grew up in my house, learning my voice, becoming a great prophet. Will you dedicate your children to me? Will you surrender them into my hands, trusting that I will lead them? Some of you fear for your children. You look at the world, and your heart trembles. You ask, Lord, will they make it? Will they stand firm? Will they love you? Hear me now. Do not fear. I am the one who calls. I am the one who keeps. Even when they wander, I will pursue them. Even when they stumble, I will lift them up. Even when they are surrounded by darkness, my light will shine upon them. You may not always see it, but your prayers are powerful. Your tears are not wasted. Your faith in them. You may not always see it, but your prayers are powerful. Your tears are not wasted. Your faith is not in vain. I am the God who saves. All your children shall be taught by the Lord, and great shall be the peace of your children. Isaiah 54 verse 13. Hold on to this promise. Do not stop praying. Do not stop believing. Some of you are carrying regret. You look back and say, I have failed. I have made mistakes. I did not raise them in your ways, Lord. But I say to you, it is not too late. I am the God of redemption. I am the one who restores what was lost. I can soften the hardest heart, break the strongest chains, and bring the prodigal home. Trust me. Surrender them to me. Stand in the gap and intercede. I am faithful. Do you remember the father who brought his demon-possessed son to Jesus? The boy had been tormented for years, and the father cried out, Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief. Mark 9 verse 24. And I healed him. Some of you feel like that father, desperate for your children's deliverance. Cry out to me, and I will answer. I am the God who breaks chains. I am the God who heals. I am the God who calls the lost home. The Lord is near to all who call on him, to all who call on him in truth. Psalm 145, verse 18. So call on me, cry out for your children, and know that I am near. And now, my child, I ask you this. Will you trust me? Will you walk in obedience? Will you raise your children in my presence, even when the world mocks you? Will you be like Noah, like Abraham, like Hannah? I am with you. I will strengthen you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13, verse 5. Go now and raise them in my love. Raise them in my truth. Raise them in my presence. And one day, when you stand before me, you will hear these words. Well done, my good and faithful servant. For your children are mine, and I will keep them. I hear the cry of your heart, my child. I see the burden you carry. The weight of raising a child in my ways is not light, but I did not call you to do this alone. I am with you. I have always been with you. From the moment I formed your child in the womb, I was there. I wrote their days before one of them came to be. I know their future, and I have plans for them. Plans for good, not for harm. Plans to give them hope and a future. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. But you must trust me. You must walk with me. For how can you lead if you do not follow? How can you teach if you do not listen? How can you show the way if you do not walk in it yourself? My beloved, raising a child in a God-centered home is not just about teaching them rules. It is about showing them my love. It is about living in my presence. It is about making your home a place where my spirit dwells, where my name is lifted high, where every moment is an opportunity to know me more. Building a home that honors me. A house is not just walls and a roof. It is what happens within those walls that shapes the hearts of your children. If you want them to know me, let your home be filled with me. Let them wake up to the sound of worship. Let them hear your prayers rise like incense. Let them see you open my word and treasure it more than gold. There was once a young boy named Timothy. His mother and grandmother loved me, and they taught him my ways from the time he was a child. Because of them, he grew up to be a man of great faith, a leader, a disciple, a preacher of my truth. 2 Timothy 1, verse 5. Do you see what I'm saying, my child? The faith you live out in front of your children will shape them for generations. What kind of inheritance will you leave behind? Will it be one of faith or one of compromise? Will your children remember a home where I was first or a home where I was forgotten? As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Joshua 24, verse 15. Make this your declaration. Do not be swayed by the world. Do not let culture dictate how you raise your children. The world says to give them everything they desire, but I say, teach them to desire me. The world says to make them happy, but I say, make them holy. Happiness fades, but holiness leads to eternal joy. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world, yet lose his soul? Mark 8, verse 36. Will you trade your child's soul for fleeting pleasures? Will you let the enemy fill their minds with lies while you remain silent? No, my child. Stand guard over their hearts. Be watchful, be vigilant, for the enemy prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. 1 Peter 5, verse 8. But do not be afraid. I am the Lion of Judah, and I fight for you. I am greater than any scheme of the enemy. The darkness trembles at my name. When you speak my word over your children, when you pray over them, when you cover them in my presence, the enemy has no power. Discipline and love. I know the struggle you face. I know the pain in your heart when your children disobey. when they push away from what is right. You wonder if they will listen, if they will follow, if they will remain in my ways. Discipline them in love. Correct them, but do not crush them. Guide them, but do not provoke them. For a child who is disciplined in anger will learn fear, but a child who is disciplined in love will learn wisdom. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you punish them with the rod, they will not die. Punish them with the rod and save them from death. Proverbs 23 verses 13 to 14. But do not misunderstand, my child. Discipline is not about harm. It is about guidance. I discipline those I love because discipline brings life. A child without discipline is like a city with no walls. Unprotected, vulnerable, exposed to the attacks of the enemy. Proverbs 25 verse 28. Correct them with my wisdom. Let your words be firm, but also full of grace. Let them see that even in correction, there is love. Let them know that my ways are not to restrict them, but to protect them, to lead them into paths of life. When they turn away, I see the tears you have cried over your children who have wandered. I have caught every tear in my bottle. Psalm 56 verse 8. I know the ache in your heart when they drift from me, when they choose the ways of the world, when they no longer listen to your words. But listen to me now. I am the good shepherd. I go after the lost. I leave the 99 to find the one. I never stop pursuing. You may think they are too far gone, that the darkness has taken hold. But I say to you, my arm is not too short to save. Isaiah 59 verse 1. No heart is too hard for me to soften. No sin is too great for my mercy. Remember the prodigal son? He walked away from his father, wasted everything he had, lived among pigs, and thought he was beyond hope. But when he turned back, his father ran to him. I am that father. I am watching the road, waiting for their return. I am working in ways you cannot see. Your prayers are not in vain. Do not stop interceding. Do not stop believing. I will contend with those who contend with you, and your children I will save. Isaiah 49 verse 25. This is my promise to you. Hold on to it. Declare it. Stand upon it, leaving a legacy of faith. What will your children remember when they think of you? Will they remember a home filled with my presence? A mother or father who never wavered in faith? A house where love, grace, and holiness were the foundation? Or will they remember compromise? A home where I was spoken of, but not followed? A house where the things of the world took priority over my kingdom? You are writing your legacy now. Your words, your actions, your faithfulness is all shaping their future. Even when you think they're not listening, they are. Even when they act like they do not care, they see you. They will remember. One day, they will stand before me. One day, they will choose for themselves whom they will serve. Your role is to plant the seed, to water it, to nurture it. But I'm the one who makes it grow. Trust me with their hearts. Trust me with their future. And know that I am faithful to complete the good work I have begun in them. The righteous walk in integrity. Blessed are their children after them. Proverbs 20 verse 7. My final words to you. I am with you. I will strengthen you. When the days feel long, when the burden feels heavy, lean on me. When you do not know what to say, ask me for wisdom. When you feel like you have failed, remember that my grace is sufficient. Do not give up, my child. Keep going. Keep believing. Keep praying. Keep trusting. And one day, when your children rise up in faith, when they walk in my ways, when they stand strong in me, you will see that every sacrifice, every prayer, every moment of obedience was worth it. Go now. Raise them my love. Raise them my truth. Raise them in my presence, and I will bless you, and I will keep you, and I will make my face shine upon you. For I am your God, and your children are mine. I see your heart, my beloved child. I see the weariness in your soul, the deep longing to raise your children in my ways. You wonder if you're doing enough, if you're saying the right words, if you're leading them as you should. Let me remind you, you are not alone in this journey. I am with you. I am the one who called you to this sacred task, and I will give you everything you need to fulfill it. Raising warriors for my kingdom. Do not raise your children to simply survive in this world. Raise them to conquer in my name. Raise them to stand firm in faith, to be a light in the darkness, to be warriors in my kingdom. The world will try to shape them, to conform them to its ways, but you must teach them that they belong to me. Remember David? He was just a shepherd boy, overlooked and underestimated. But I saw his heart. I prepared him in the secret place. When the time came for him to face Goliath, he did not tremble in fear. He stood in faith. He did not fight with a sword or a spear, but with my name upon his lips. Your children will face giants. The giants of fear, doubt, temptation, and deception will rise against them. But if they know me, if they trust in my power, if they are equipped with my word, they will not fall. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. Ephesians 6 verses 10 to 11. Teach them to put on my armor. Teach them to guard their hearts with righteousness, to stand firm in truth, to walk in peace, to lift up the shield of faith, to wield the sword of my word, and to pray without ceasing. If they learn this from a young age, they will not be shaken when the storms come. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22 verse 6. Creating a home filled with my presence. Your home is more than just a house. It is a sanctuary. It should be a place where my presence dwells, where my spirit moves freely, where my name is spoken with reverence and love. Your children should grow up knowing that I am not just a part of life. I am the very foundation of it. Speak my word over them every day. Let them hear my promises, my truth, my love. When they wake up, let their first thoughts be of me. When they sit at the table, let conversations be filled with my goodness. When they lie down at night, let them be covered in prayer. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Deuteronomy 6 verses 6 to 7. Do not let the world steal their attention. The enemy will use distractions, technology, entertainment, busyness to keep them from me. Guard what enters your home. Guard what fills their minds. Guard what shapes their hearts. If you allow the world to disciple them, do not be surprised when they follow its ways. Teaching them to love me above all else. It is not enough for them to know about me. They must love me. They must desire me more than the pleasures of this world. They must hunger for my presence more than anything else. How do they learn this? By watching you. They will love what you love. They will seek what you seek. They will worship what you worship. If you chase after money, they will learn that wealth is more important than me. If you prioritize comfort over calling, they will learn that faith is optional. If you seek entertainment more than my presence, they will learn that I am not enough. But if they see you pray, they will learn that I am your source. If they see you worship, they will learn that I am worthy. If they see you trust me in the storm, they will learn that I am faithful. Do not just tell them to love me. Show them what it looks like. Let them see the joy of a heart that follows me fully. Let them witness the peace that comes from walking in my ways. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. Deuteronomy 6 verse 5. The battle for their souls. Do not be blind to the battle, my child. Your children are not just growing up, they're being fought over. The enemy wants them. He wants to plant seeds of doubt, confusion, rebellion, and sin. He wants to steal their innocence, corrupt their minds, and turn their hearts away from me. But you are their protector. You are their intercessor. You are the one standing in the gap. Fight for them in prayer. Do not let a day go by without covering them in my name. When they are young, pray over their innocence. As they grow, pray over their decisions. When they face temptations, pray for their strength. When they wander, pray for their return. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. James 5 verse 16. Do not stop praying. Do not stop believing. Even when you do not see change, even when they resist, even when they turn away, keep fighting. Because I'm fighting for them too. Rest in my promise. I know the burden you carry. I see the sleepless nights, the worries, the questions that fill your mind. But listen to me. You were never meant to carry this alone. I am the one who saves. I am the one who transforms hearts. I am the one who holds their future. Your job is to lead them to me, but it is my job to change them. Do your part and trust me with the rest. Even when you do not see results, even when it feels like nothing is happening, I am working. My spirit is moving. My word is planted deep. My promises will not fail. My word that goes out from my mouth will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. Isaiah 55 verse 11. Final words. Do not grow weary, my beloved. Your labor is not in vain. Your prayers are not wasted. Your faithfulness is not forgotten. Keep speaking life. Keep showing love. Keep standing firm. Keep trusting me. And one day, you will see the fruit of your labor. You will see your children rise up in faith. You will see them walk in my purpose. You will see them choose me with all their hearts. And on that day, you will know that every sacrifice, every tear, every moment of surrender was worth it. I am with you. I am for you, and I will never fail you. I see your heart, my beloved. I see the deep longing in your soul to raise your children in my ways. You carry a weight that many do not understand, the burden of shaping a soul, the responsibility of pointing them toward eternity. You wonder if you're doing enough, if you're making the right choices, if you're leading them well. But hear my voice today. You are not alone. You were never meant to carry this burden by yourself. I am with you. I am the one who called you to this sacred task, and I will equip you for it. When I formed your child in the womb, I already knew the plans I had for them. Plans to prosper them, to give them hope and a future. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. And I chose you, yes you, to be their guide, their teacher, their protector. Do not be afraid. Do not let the enemy whisper lies into your heart, telling you that you are failing, that you are not good enough, that your efforts are in vain. No prayer is wasted. No act of obedience is unnoticed. Every seed you plant, even the ones you think have fallen on dry ground, will bear fruit in my perfect time. Teaching your children to hear my voice. The world will try to drown out my voice. It will fill your children's minds with noise, with distractions, with voices that lead them away from me. That is why you must teach them to recognize my voice above all others. Remember Samuel? As a child, he did not yet know my voice. But when he heard me call, he listened. and because of his obedience, I used him mightily for my kingdom. Teach your children as Eli taught Samuel. Teach them to say, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." 1 Samuel 3 verse 9. Teach them to seek me in the quiet, to tune their hearts to my spirit. Do not let their ears be filled with the voices of the world, voices that tell them they are not enough, voices that distort truth, voices that lead them into sin. Fill their ears with my word. Speak my promises over them. Let them grow up knowing that I am the God who speaks, the God who leads, the God who never fails. When your child strays, I know the fear that grips your heart when you think about your children wandering away from me. I know the pain of watching a beloved child turn to the world, of seeing them chase after things that cannot satisfy. Did not my own people turn from me time and time again? Did not the Israelites, whom I rescued with mighty miracles, still choose idols over me? And yet, my love for them never wavered. My arms remained open, waiting for them to return. If your child strays, do not despair. If they turn to the world, do not give up on them. Even if they seem far from me, even if they reject my name, I am still pursuing them. Remember the prodigal son? He left his father's house, wasted his inheritance, and found himself in a place of ruin. But the father never stopped waiting, never stopped watching, never stopped loving. And when the son returned, the father ran to him with open arms. That is how I feel about your child. I will never stop calling them home. I will never stop whispering to their spirit, drawing them back to me. And when they return, I will not turn them away. I will embrace them with joy. So do not stop praying. Your prayers have power. Even when you do not see change, even when it feels like nothing is happening, I am working. I am softening their heart, planting seeds of truth, drawing them back with my love. The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some understand slowness. Instead, he is patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance. 2 Peter 3 verse 9. Hold on to my promises. Keep standing in the gap for your child. I am the God who restores, and I will bring them back, filling your home with my presence. Your home is not just a physical place. It is a spiritual battleground. What you allow into your home will shape your children's hearts, their minds, their spirits. Let my presence fill every room. Let my name be spoken with reverence and love. Let your children grow up knowing that I am not just a distant God, but the very foundation of their lives. Do not let the enemy sneak into your home through what they watch, what they listen to, what they consume. Guard their hearts fiercely. The world is fighting for their attention, for their devotion, but so am I. Fill your home with worship. Let your children hear songs of praise. Let them see you pray. Let them witness a faith that is alive. Let them know that my presence is not just found in a church building, but in their very home. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Joshua 24 verse 15. Equipping them for the battles ahead. Do not raise your children to be comfortable in this world. Raise them to stand firm in faith. Raise them to be warriors in my kingdom. The world will try to shape them, to conform them, to pull them away from me. But if you equip them well, they will not be shaken. Teach them to put on my armor, the belt of truth, so they will never be deceived, the breastplate of righteousness, so their hearts will remain pure, the shoes of peace, so they will walk in my ways, the shield of faith, so they will not be destroyed by doubt, the helmet of salvation, so their minds will be protected, the sword of the Spirit, so they will know how to fight with my word. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. Ephesians 6 verses 10 to 11. Your children are not meant to simply survive in this world. They are meant to overcome. If they are rooted in me, if they're trained in my word, if they know the power of my spirit, nothing will shake them. My promise to you, I know the weight you carry. I know the fears that try to overwhelm you. But hear me today. I am with you. When you feel weak, I am your strength. When you feel lost, I am your guide. When you feel like you are failing, I am working through you. Every tear you have cried over your child, I have seen. Every prayer you have whispered in the quiet, I have heard. Every moment of surrender, every sacrifice, every act of faith, I have counted it all, and I will be faithful. One day, you will see the fruit of your labor. One day, you will see your children rise up in faith. One day, you will stand before me, and I will show you that every prayer, every sacrifice, every battle fought in my name was worth it. Do not give up. Do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time, you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. Galatians 6 verse 9. I am the Lord your God. I hold your children in my hands. I will never leave them. I will never forsake them, and I will never stop loving them. Trust me, follow me, and watch what I will do. A legacy that lasts for eternity. My beloved, listen to me. The work you are doing, raising your children in my ways, is not just for this moment. It is for generations to come. The seeds you plant today will grow into mighty trees, bearing fruit that will outlive you. You are shaping a legacy that will echo into eternity. Do you remember Abraham? I called him, and he obeyed. He passed down his faith, and because of his obedience, an entire nation was born. His children, his grandchildren, and those who came after him walked in the covenant I made with him. I am calling you to do the same. You are not just raising children. You are raising future leaders, future warriors, future men and women who will carry my name into the world. What you teach them today will shape their faith for years to come. The children of your servants will live in your presence. Their descendants will be established before you. Psalm 102 verse 28. When the world tries to pull them away, there will come a day when your children will have to make a choice. They will stand at a crossroads, the path of the world or the path of righteousness. The enemy will whisper lies, tempt them with fleeting pleasures, try to lure them away from my truth. But if they are rooted in me, they will not fall. Joseph was taken from his family, thrown into slavery, and tempted in ways that could have destroyed him. But he did not forget the God of his father. He held on to my promises, and because of his faithfulness, I raised him up to be a ruler, a leader, a man of great influence. Teach your children to be like Joseph. Teach them to say no to sin, to resist the enemy, to hold fast to my truth even when they stand alone. How can a young person stay on the path of purity? By living according to your word. Psalm 119 verse 9. When they go to school, when they enter the workforce, when they're surrounded by a world that rejects me, they must know who they are in me. They must know that they are my children, chosen and set apart. You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. 1 Peter 2 verse 9. The power of a praying parent. Never underestimate the power of your prayers. You may not always be able to be with your children, but I am. Your prayers cover them, protect them, guide them. Look at Hannah. She wept before me for a son, and when I gave her Samuel, she dedicated him to me. and I used him mightily. Look at Monica, the mother of Augustine. She prayed for years, never giving up, even when her son was lost in sin. And because of her prayers, I transformed him into one of the greatest voices of faith. Do not stop praying. When they are infants, pray over their destiny. When they are children, pray for their minds and hearts. When they are teenagers, pray for their purity and strength. When they are adults, pray for their walk with me. Even when they are far from you, even when they do not listen, your prayers will go where you cannot. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. James 5 verse 16. When you feel like giving up, I see the exhaustion in your soul. I see the moments when you feel like you're failing, when you wonder if anything you're doing is making a difference. But my beloved, do not grow weary. Did Moses' mother know that the baby she placed in a basket would grow up to deliver a nation? Did Mary fully understand that the child she was raising was the Savior of the world? Did Timothy's mother and grandmother know that their teachings would prepare him to be a mighty leader in the church? You do not see the full picture yet, but I do. Every bedtime prayer, every Bible story, every moment of discipline, every act of love, it all matters. Let's not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6 verse 9. I am with you. I am strengthening you. Lean on me, and I will give you the grace to continue. A future of hope. The world is filled with uncertainty. You look around and wonder what kind of future your children will face. Wars, disasters, evil rising. It can make your heart tremble. But hear me, your children are in my hands. I have already gone before them. I have prepared their way. I know the plans I have for them. Plans for good, plans to give them a hope and a future. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. You do not need to fear what tomorrow holds. Teach them to trust me, and they will never be shaken. Though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken, nor my covenant of peace be removed, says the Lord, who has compassion on you. Isaiah 54 verse 10. Your children belong to me, and I will never let them go. The final promise. So my child, stand firm. Keep fighting the good fight. Keep raising your children in my truth. Keep loving them, teaching them, praying over them. And one day, you will see the fruit of your labor. One day, you will stand before me and see how your obedience shaped lives, how your faithfulness built a legacy, how your love reflected my heart. You will hear my voice say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Matthew 25, verse 23. I am with you always, and I will never fail you. Now go, my beloved, raise your children in my love, and trust that I will take care of the rest. The eternal impact of your faithfulness. My beloved, do you see how precious your work is? You are shaping eternity. You may think that raising children in my ways is just about today, just about keeping them safe, just about making sure they behave. But it is so much more. Every lesson you teach them about me, every time you tell them of my love, every moment you spend pointing them toward righteousness, it echoes beyond this life. Do you remember Lois and Eunice? They were just simple women, a mother and a grandmother. But because they raised Timothy in my truth, he became a mighty man of faith, a leader in the early church. 2 Timothy 1 verse 5. What if they had given up? What if they had decided that teaching a child about me was too small a task? But they didn't. They stayed faithful. And because of their obedience, their legacy carried on for generations. This is what I'm calling you to. You may not see the full impact of your efforts now, but in eternity, you will. You will see how your faith shaped their future, how your prayers protected them, how your love pointed them to me. So do not grow weary. Your work is not in vain. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 58. Raising warriors, not just children. The world will tell you that your job as a parent is to make your children successful, to make sure they have a good education, a stable career, a comfortable life. But I'm calling you to something higher. I'm calling you to raise warriors. This world is not a playground. It is a battlefield. Your children will face struggles, temptations, and trials that you cannot even imagine. But if they are equipped with my word, they will not fall. Look at David. The world saw him as just a shepherd boy, but I saw a warrior, a king. When he stood before Goliath, he did not fight with the weapons of man. He fought in my name, and he won. Teach your children to be like David. Teach them to have faith, even when the odds are against them. Teach them to stand up for truth, even when the world mocks them. Teach them to run toward me in battle, knowing that I am their strength. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27, verse 1. If you train them well, if you teach them to trust in me, they will stand strong. They will not be easily swayed by the enemy. They will know who they are in me, and they will walk in victory. A home that reflects heaven. Your home is more than just walls and a roof. It is a sanctuary. It is the place where your children will learn what love looks like, what faith feels like, what it means to walk with me. Make your home a place where my presence dwells. Let my name be spoken with love, not just in times of trouble. Let my word be read, not just on Sundays, but every day. Let prayer be natural, not just a ritual before meals. Let worship fill the air so that your children know that I am not just a distant God. I am their God. Do not allow the enemy to creep into your home through entertainment, through unguarded words, through compromise. Protect the atmosphere of your home. Let it be filled with peace, with joy, with my presence. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. Joshua 24, verse 15. If you make me the foundation of your home, your children will grow up knowing that I am real, that I am close, that I am the center of all things. When you feel unworthy, I see your heart, my child. I see the moments when you feel like you are not enough, when you question whether you are the right person for this task. But I chose you. I did not make a mistake when I entrusted these children to you. I knew what I was doing. I knew you would struggle, but I also knew you would seek me. I knew you would feel weak, but I also knew that my strength would sustain you. I knew you would question yourself, but I also knew that my spirit would guide you. You do not have to be perfect. You just have to be faithful. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9. Lean on me. Let me be your wisdom. Let me be your strength. Let me carry you when you feel like you cannot go on. A glimpse of the future. There will come a day when your children will be grown. They will no longer need you to hold their hand, but they will always need me. And when that day comes, what will they remember? Will they remember a home filled with love, where my name was lifted high? Will they remember the way you prayed over them, even when they didn't understand why? Will they remember the stories of my faithfulness, the lessons you taught them, the way you live your faith? My child, they are watching you. They are learning how to love me by watching how you love me. They're learning how to trust me by watching how you trust me. They're learning how to pray by listening to how you pray. Your faith will shape their faith. And one day, when you stand before me, you will see the harvest of all you have planted. You will see how your obedience changed lives, how your prayers protected generations, how your love reflected my heart. And I will look at you, and I will say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have raised my children well. Enter into my joy." My final promise to you. So do not give up. Do not be discouraged. I am with you. When the nights feel long and the burdens feel heavy, I am carrying you. When your heart is overwhelmed with fear for your children, I am holding them. When you wonder if your efforts are in vain, I am working behind the scenes. You are not alone. You never were. Trust me. Follow me. Raise your children in my love, and I will take care of the rest. And one day, when your children rise up in faith, when they walk in my ways, when they teach their own children about my goodness, you will know that everything you did, every prayer you prayed, every sacrifice you made was worth it. I am the Lord your God, and I will never fail you. The eternal reward of raising godly children. My beloved child, I see your heart. I see your longing to raise your children in my truth. I see the battles you fight, the sacrifices you make, the nights you spend in prayer, asking me to guide them. Do not think for a moment that I am not watching. I see the times you wake up early to speak life into them before they start their day. I see the times you correct them in love, even when it would be easier to stay silent. I see the tears you shed when they stray, the pain you feel when they do not listen, the prayers you whisper when they are asleep. I see it all, and I am pleased with you. Every moment of faithfulness, every act of love, every time you choose to lead them in righteousness instead of letting the world lead them astray, you are planting seeds that will grow into a harvest of righteousness. Do not give up. The reward is coming. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22, verse 6. Your children are my masterpiece. Before you ever held them in your arms, before you ever spoke their name, before you ever saw their face, I knew them. I formed them in the secret place. Psalm 139, verses 13 to 16. I designed every detail of their being, every gift, every talent, every purpose. I wrote their days before they were ever born. They are not a mistake. They are my masterpiece, and I have entrusted you with the great honor of raising them, shaping them, molding them into the men and women I created them to be. This is not a small task. This is holy work. It is more important than your job, more important than your ambitions, more important than anything else you could accomplish in this world. For what could be greater than shaping a soul for eternity? Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior, are children born in one's youth. Psalm 127, verses 3 to 4. Your children are not a burden. Your children are not an accident. Your children are not an interruption to your life. They are my gift to you. Love them. Cherish them. Raise them in my truth, and I will bless you beyond measure. The enemy wants your children, but he cannot have them. Do not be deceived, my child. The enemy wants your children. He wants to steal their faith, to corrupt their hearts, to fill their minds with lies. He will use the world to tempt them, to pull them away, to convince them that they do not need me. But he will not win, because you are standing in the gap. You are praying for them. You are speaking my word over them. You are raising them in righteousness, and I am fighting for them. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14, verse 14. Every time you pray over them, you're building a wall of protection around them. Every time you teach them my truth, you are equipping them for battle. Every time you correct them in love, you're shaping their hearts to resist the enemy's lies. Do not let fear take hold of you. The enemy may try, but he will not succeed, because I have already declared victory. No weapon formed against you will prosper. Isaiah 54, verse 17. Your children belong to me, and I will never let them go. When your children walk away, I know the pain of watching a child turn away. I know the heartbreak, the fear, the guilt. I watched as Adam and Eve, my own creation, chose to walk away from my presence. I saw them listen to the serpent instead of my voice. I saw them break my heart. But even then, I never stopped loving them. I pursued them. I made a way for them to be redeemed. And I do the same for your children. If they stray, do not lose hope. Do not believe the lie that all is lost. As long as there is breath in their lungs, there is hope. Keep praying. Keep believing. Keep trusting me. Look at the prodigal son. He walked away. He rebelled. He rejected his father's love. But when he finally came to his senses, when he finally realized the truth, he came home. And when he did, his father did not reject him. He ran to him. He embraced him. He welcomed him back with joy. I will do the same for your child. Even if they turn away for a time, I will not stop pursuing them. My love will chase them. My spirit will whisper to them. My truth will remain in their hearts. They will return. And when they do, you will see that all your prayers, all your tears, all your faith, it was never in vain. Believe in the Lord Jesus, and you will be saved, you and your household. Acts 16, verse 31. I will finish what I started. I did not give you these children and then leave you to figure it out alone. I am with you. Every step you take, every decision you make, every battle you fight, I am guiding you. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to have all the answers. You do not have to do this in your own strength. Just trust me. Follow my lead. I have given you everything you need. My word to guide you. My spirit to strengthen you. My grace to sustain you. And I promise you this, I will finish what I started. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Philippians 1 verse 6. You're not alone. I am with you. And one day, when you stand before me, you will see the full picture. You will see how your faithfulness shaped generations. You will see the reward of your labor. And you will hear me say, well done, my good and faithful servant. So go, my beloved. Keep raising your children in my love. Keep trusting me with their future. And know this, I will never fail you. My beloved, do you understand the weight of what you are building? You are not just raising children. You are raising a legacy. The choices you make today will echo for generations. The faith you instill in your children will not die with them. It will be passed down from their children to their children's children. Do you remember Abraham? I called him to walk in faith, to trust me, to lead his household in righteousness. And because he obeyed, because he followed my voice, his descendants became as numerous as the stars. Genesis 22, verse 17. That same promise stands for you. If you walk in my ways, your children will be blessed. But from everlasting to everlasting, the Lord's love is with those who fear him, and his righteousness with their children's children. Psalm 103, verse 17. Think of the future. Long after you are gone, long after your voice has faded, the seeds you plant today will still be growing. Your prayers will still be covering your family. Your faith will still be shaping their destiny. Do not grow weary. You are not just living for today. You are building a foundation for eternity. When you feel like you are failing, I know there are moments when you feel like you're not enough. You see your own weaknesses, your own struggles, your own failures, and you wonder, how can I possibly lead my children when I don't have it all together? But my child, do you not know that my strength is made perfect in weakness? 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. You were never meant to do this alone. I am the one who gives you wisdom. I am the one who fills you with patience when yours is running out. I am the one who lifts you up when you feel like you are failing. You do not have to be perfect. You just have to be faithful. When you fall, get back up. When you make a mistake, repent and keep going. When you feel unworthy, remember, I have called you, and I do not make mistakes. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. Psalm 37 verses 23 to 24. Your success as a parent is not measured by your perfection. It is measured by your willingness to lean on me. The power of a praying parent. My child, never underestimate the power of your prayers. Even when you cannot be with your children, even when they're far from you, even when you feel helpless to change their situation, your prayers are working. Do you remember Hannah? She prayed for Samuel before he was even born, and I answered her. 1 Samuel 1 verse 27. Do you remember Job? He prayed for his children every day, covering them with my protection. Job 1 verse 5. Prayer is not just words, it is a weapon. Every time you pray over your children, you are breaking chains. Every time you speak my word over them, you are releasing my power into their lives. Every time you lift them up to me, you are placing them in my hands, the safest place they can be. Do not stop praying, even when you do not see results right away. Even when it feels like nothing is changing, keep praying. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. James 5 verse 16. Your prayers are protecting them in ways you cannot see. Keep pressing in. Keep believing. Keep standing in the gap for them. I am listening, and I will answer. Your children will rise up in faith. The world is dark, but I am raising up a generation of warriors. And your children, they are part of that army. If you teach them my ways, if you fill their hearts with my truth, if you show them what it means to live for me, they will stand strong. Even when trials come, even when temptations arise, even when the enemy tries to pull them away, they will know who they are. Because you have shown them, they will remember the prayers you prayed over them. They will remember the Bible stories you told them. They will remember the nights you held them and spoke my promises over their lives. And when they are older, they will not depart from it. Proverbs 22 verse 6. They will walk in my ways. They will preach my word. They will be lights in the darkness. They will be the generation that brings revival. And when that day comes, when you see them standing strong in faith, when you watch them worship, when you hear them call upon my name, you will know that every sacrifice, every tear, every prayer was worth it. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth. 3 John 1 verse 4. My promise to you, I know this journey is not easy. I know the weight you carry. But I promise you this, you are not alone. When you feel weary, I will give you strength. When you feel lost, I will guide you. When you feel discouraged, I will lift you up. I am walking this path with you. I will never leave you. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1 verse 9. So stand firm, my child. Keep raising your children in my truth. Keep trusting me with their future. Keep believing that I will finish what I started. And one day, when you stand before me, when you see the lives you have shaped, the faith you have passed down, the legacy you have built, you will hear me say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Enter into my joy." This is my promise to you, and I never break my promises.